cold Thames mist clings to your skin like a wet shroud as you step into the muddy lanes of Westminster. It is November 1605, and London does not smell of majestic royal courts or poetic Renaissance drama. It smells of human waste, rotting offal thrown into gutters, coal smoke, and stagnant water. You are John Johnson, or at least that is the name signed on your papers. In reality, you are Guy Fawkes, a seasoned mercenary hired for a task that will either rewrite the destiny of England or send your soul directly to the gallows. Popular history pictures Guy Fawkes as a shadowy criminal operating in a romantic world of cloak and dagger adventure. We imagine a lone mastermind fighting against a tyrannical king with cinematic flair. But the physical reality of the Gunpowder Plot was far from a glamorous rebellion. It was a brutal, physically exhausting, and deeply paranoid operation conducted in damp basements by men who knew they were running out of time. Your job was not just to light a match. You were the guardian of 36 heavy oak barrels, filled with enough black powder to instantly vaporize the entire political ruling class of Great Britain. Your morning does not start with fine wine or hot chocolate in a comfortable tavern. It begins in the absolute pitch black of a rented undercroft, a cold stone cellar leased directly beneath the House of Lords. The air down here is thick, heavy with the stench of saltpeter, damp timber, and the sewage leaking through old masonry from the nearby river. The temperature stays barely above freezing. You lie awake on a rough straw mattress, listening to every creak of the floorboards above your head. Up there, King James I, his lords, and his Protestant ministers walk without knowing that a massive subterranean bomb is lying directly under their feet. Getting out of bed is a slow process governed by total secrecy. You cannot simply light a candle whenever you feel like it. A single stray spark in this room means instant annihilation for you and half of Westminster. You navigate by touch, feeling the cold, rough iron hoops of the powder barrels stacked along the wall. Your body aches from weeks of manual labor. Smuggling over 2 tons of gunpowder into the heart of London was an incredible logistical nightmare, equivalent to moving illegal military explosive hardware right into the basement of a modern parliament building under the nose of a state intelligence network. Every single meal is a gamble and a reminder of your isolation. You eat hard cheese, dry bread, and stale ale brought to you in secret by your co-conspirators, men like Robert Catesby and Thomas Wintour. You do not dare go outside into the daylight often. A tall stranger with a dark beard and soldier mannerisms walking around Westminster would immediately draw suspicion. In Jacobean England, surveillance is not maintained through security cameras, but through an intricate web of royal spies, greedy informants, and suspicious neighbors who report anything unusual for a few silver coins. The political atmosphere in 1605 is suffocating. Catholics in England are treated as second-class citizens, heavily fined for missing Protestant church services, hunted by priest-finders, and executed if caught harboring Jesuits. The conspirators believe they are fighting a holy war to restore the old faith, but to the crown, they are worst terrorists imaginable. To survive, you must operate like an underground intelligence cell. You use secret passphrases, communicate through encrypted letters, and hide in safe houses across the countryside. As the afternoon hours drag on inside the dank cellar, the psychological burden becomes almost unbearable. The human mind is not built to sit alone in the dark for weeks on end next to enough explosives to level a city block. Every distant footsteps above, every rumble of a carriage on the cobblestones outside makes your heart hammer against your ribs. You check your pocket watch. The opening of Parliament is drawing near. The plan is simple yet terrifying in its scope. On November 5th, when the King, the Prince of Wales, the bishops, and the lords are all gathered in the chamber above, you will step into the dark, light a slow burning match, and walk away. The explosion will shatter the monarchy and trigger a Catholic uprising across the nation. Then comes the dark turning point, the moment the invisible trap springs shut. A mysterious anonymous letter arrives at the home of Lord Monteagle, warning him to stay away from the opening of Parliament if he values his life. The letter is quickly passed to Robert Cecil, the King Chief Minister and the undisputed master of Jacobean intelligence. The government does not panic publicly. Cecil plays a quiet game of chess, allowing the conspirators to believe their secret is still safe while royal guards prepare to search every corner of the palace complex. On the night of November 4th, the door to your cell is kicked open. Lantern light flashes into your eyes, blinding you after weeks in the shadows. Royal soldiers burst in, swords drawn. They find you fully dressed, wearing boots and spurs, holding a dark lantern, a pocket watch, and several slow matches. Hidden beneath piles of firewood are the 36 barrels. You are seized, bound in heavy iron chains, and dragged directly before King James and his council for immediate interrogation. What follows is the horrifying nightmare that every traitor in 17th century England dreads. You are taken to the Tower of London, a grim stone fortress rising above the Thames. In the White Tower, inside damp torture chambers, you face the rack. Jacobean law strictly regulates torture, requiring a royal warrant, but for treason of this magnitude, the king orders the severity of the pain to be increased gradually. They start with manacles, hanging you by your wrists for hours until your joints dislocate. When you refuse to break, they strap you to the wooden frame of the rack, tearing your muscles and ligaments apart. For 3 days you resist, giving false names and refusing to implicate Catesby and the others. But human endurance has its absolute limits. By the time you finally sign your confession, your hand is shaking so violently that your signature is nothing more than an unrecognizable, painful scrawl. The legal machinery moves swiftly. You are condemned to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, a brutal public execution designed to completely erase a traitor body and memory from the earth. Guy Fawkes became the famous face of the plot, but he was ultimately a soldier executing a plan conceived by desperate, fanatical men. His story is not a heroic tale of liberty, nor is it a simple story of pure villainy. It is a terrifying glimpse into a dark era where religious fanaticism, state surveillance, and extreme political desperation collided with explosive force. The barrels in that damp cellar never caught fire, but the ripples of that night altered the course of British history forever. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark corners of history, hit subscribe to Past Legacy for more stories, and leave a like and comment below to let us know your thoughts.